This is Mega Man Zero 4 for the Game Boy Advance. So, last we left Zero, he had a pretty nice note at the end of Zero 3 to end off on. Unfortunately, Neo Arcadia is still under totalitarian rule, so let's see how that's going.
レプリロイド。それははるか昔に作られた限りなく人間に近いロボット。高度な技術により人格を与えられた彼らレプリロイドは、人間のために働き、人間と共に歩む最高のパートナーとなるはずだった。だが、平和に流れる時の裏で、人間とレプリロイドの歯車は静かにきしみ始める。限りなく人間に近いがゆえに、レプリロイドは時に人間に逆らうことすらある。そういった危険なレプリロイドを人間はイレギュラーと呼び恐れた。イレギュラーとなったレプリロイドは同じレプリロイドの手で処分させる。それが人間の導き出した答えだった。主である人間を守ろうとするレプリロイドたちに選択の余地はない。こうしていつ終わるともしれないレプリロイド同士の激しい戦いが始まったのだ。いくつもの戦いを積み重ね、時が経ち、レプリロイドに守られた人間の理想郷、ネオアルカディアができてからも戦いは終わらなかった。自由を求めるイレギュラーによりネオアルカディアのリーダーは倒され、そして今、かつてネオアルカディアだった場所は犯罪者のドクター・バイルに支配されている。人間の理想郷はもはや見る影もなく安全と呼べる場所はなくなり、その地を離れる人も少なくはない。そう、私たちもまた、バイルの支配から逃げ延びてきたキャラバンなのだから。
So would you believe me if I said not only are we going to be fighting against a fascist regime, but we're also going to be putting a bow on the Mega Man X series? I know it sounds unlikely, but nonetheless, that is the case.
I don't know why anybody's trying to flee. My rule is absolute, but perfectly fine.
And here he is once again, it's Zero. So, we're not exactly with the Resistance this time, at least not in the main headquarters. Considering Dr. Vile's rule, CL0 and a handful of the other Resistance members are now on the road, which, hey, makes for a really cool first stage. Yeah, this is also a very good intro to a game. Again, Zero 3 I like, but, compared to everything else in the series, it's a little lacking in the intro department, but nonetheless, we've got a whole lot of menu stuff here. But we also have a new weapon. So this is the Z-Knuckle. It allows you to attack enemies, and certain enemies, if you kill them with the Z-Knuckle, you will actually equip their weapon. You can ditch it with the select button if you want to get rid of it. You can see the ammunition in the bottom there, right underneath the rest of Zero's health and whatnot. Now, the main thing I want to touch on here, of course, is the fact that, yes, the Pantheons are gone. Because Copy X is dead and Vile's in charge now. Instead, the mass-produced foot soldier is now the variant line. These are variant fires. They're actually tougher than Pantheons. Not by much, but you won't kill them quite as fast as you killed Pantheons. You've probably noticed that already. They also come in various forms, of course, but the ones we're dealing with in this stage are variant fires. They are more annoying than the Pantheons because they shoot kind of a lingering shot. You can slice the bullet even without any sort of special abilities, but if it's allowed to hit you or a surface, it will create a small flame that'll just linger there for a few seconds. Out of fiction, I will say, I do like the variants in their design, and it is very cool that we have a notable consequence of Vile taking charge, and that's the fact that he has to have his own line of enemies instead. He's gotta get rid of the old guys and bring in the slightly tougher, newer ones. In fiction, how dare he? The Pantheons were our enemies, but man, I miss those guys. Okay, now we've got an airship. I'm pretty sure he's just borrowing this from Robotnik, but whatever. The ship itself is pretty short, and here's the boss. That was easy enough. This is the Sub-Desert Core. It fires a big beam. Just kinda dash under it, don't jump into it, and you'll be fine. We've got beam walkers on the ceiling, which, if you let them out, could actually be helpful. Insofar as you've probably noticed, there have been enemy drops like the one I just got that is just the enemy's name. Now you might be wondering, does that mean they're entered into the database? No! So this game forgoes the secret discs of the previous game for a number of reasons, one of which is, if you kill an enemy, it's just going to be registered into the database. You don't need to pick up a disc for particular enemies. But one of the things that replaces secret discs is enemy drops. We'll see what those are used for later. For the time being, here's the results screen. A bunch of things look different than they did before. Again, we'll get to those later because most of them aren't even relevant.
Yeah, pretty much.
This song, by the way, is Holy Land. We'll be hearing it a decent amount throughout the game. It is very good. I'll just leave it at that. So yes, he said, dealing with Reploids, meaning we just saw 3 entire humans on screen at the same time. Which I think is a new record for Mega Man period, right? I'm trying to think of, like, Mega Man 4, because I think maybe Dr. Cossack, Kalinka, and Wily were on screen at the same time. I think that's the only time we've ever seen so many humans in one spot in all of Mega Man. I mean, X did make the very conscious decision to kinda stop using any humans. Nobody in general, especially after Dr. Kane just sort of vanished. On account of being blown up by a missile.
Nah, I'm totally dangerous, actually. Look, Ciel's fine. She is very helpful. I do have a sword. Please, no gossip, I can't handle it.
I mean, we could have guessed that Dr. Vile is worse, but, you know, to the Resistance, I don't think the change in hands of regime was, particularly significant. they've never really stopped trying to kill us. We had a very brief period where they almost were fine with us, and then, you know, El Piso did a thing. He kinda screwed it up for the rest of us. But yes, anyway, now that Dr. Vile's in charge, things have gotten worse for humans. We have not seen their point of view at all, so far. So it does come as a bit of a shock, but... yeah, now things are so bad there that we have human characters in the narrative. They have appeared again.
Area 0? There's an area named after me? I told everybody I don't like gossip. Why is there a place named after me? That's gonna be the source of so much gossip. They're gonna think I want a place named after me, and I don't.
So, I do appreciate that we had the intro to this game that we did, just in case you were worried about how, the humans we've met kinda treat Reploids. The beginning of the game is there, just to reinforce the fact that, no, actually humans are the reason Reploids started fighting in the first place. You know, if you're not as familiar with Mega Man X or Mega Man Zero, that's mostly there for you. Or if it's just been a while since you've played them, but, I, of course, have been playing through the Mega Man games for a hot minute, you know, just all in a row, so I'm fully aware of humans and their place in the X series. But it seems that so much time has passed that, the humans are maybe a little forgetful of why this whole thing started. I mean, it was Sigma, but humans also did a bunch of things. Okay, so we've got a few things to do before we do our next mission. But we will be doing both intro missions in the first video, as you could probably guess by the video time. So, let's see everybody who's in the caravan with us. Alright, so... we've already been told that Servo is here, of course. So, right. Bit of bad news if you were a big Shield Boomerang fan, and chances are you probably were. The weapons we get at the start of the game are the weapons we have for the entire game. So yeah, we're getting the explanation for the Z-Knuckle here. We basically just have a chip implanted into Zero's hand that allows him to just steal weapons, and also punch real good. It's a neat idea, and I actually like where it came from, but admittedly it is definitely very disappointing that we don't get another variation of the rod or the shield boomerang. Like, look, the rod weapons haven't always been my favorite, but I do kind of like that Servo just keeps repurposing the triple rod into something else each time. Just like, alright, that didn't work out, how about this? Oh, he really didn't like that grappling hook, okay. Try that again. I guess he's just given up at this point. Alright, so, that's the lab. That's as far as we can go over here. But let's go past command real quick into the first cabin, where we have Alouettes. Oh, only one new elf. I mean, hopefully it's not a nerve self, because I've not been using those. Right, nothing to do with that just yet. But we do have this cabin as well. So yeah, this is the other member that's come along. This is Hirondelle, who of course is kind of our reconnaissance guy, which is, why he's along with us, though, considering he's cooped up in the cabin for this game, I don't know how much he'll be doing in comparison to Zero. He's also going to tell us about the weather, which is, again, irrelevant for now. The next stage will not have any kind of weather effect, but now we know that this game has a bit of a gimmick. Okay, so this guy is Falcon, who is kind of just one of the generic soldier designs that we have seen throughout the base, but he's our other guy here. Oh, and how could I forget? In the command room, not only do we have Seal, but we have Rouge as well. Jaune is still back at the regular Resistance base, though. Okay, so now here's the part where we talk about Mega Man X stuff. So yes, Area Zero is named as such probably because it's supposed to be a variation on a ground zero of sorts. That is where the space colony Eurasia crashed. Which, of course, has been pretty bad. Just, in terms of the general area. So yeah, not only did a ton of people die, even though Zero did successfully, hit the colony in such a way it came apart, avoiding a complete disaster, it also created the, was it just called, like, Area? No, it's not called Area Zero. Future me, what was the final area in Mega Man X5 called again? I've forgotten. I want to call it the Zero Zone, but I don't think that's it. So yeah, for quite some time, it was incredibly trippy because it was just filled to the brim with the Zero virus. The kind of strengthened variation of the Sigma virus that was, trained on Zero and his resistance to the Sigma virus at the time. So anyway, all that is to say, it is kind of surprising to see that Area Zero is one of the first areas to actually see significant recovery. 'Cause yeah, if you haven't been watching the other Zero games or if you've forgotten, pretty much every area we encounter is some sort of ruin or deserts. So yeah, most of the world is not doing great. This, however, is definitely a nice change of pace after several ruins. I mean, we did see forests in the previous game, but, you know, we had to deal with the chain rod, and there was ruins there still, but this is just nature coming back. So, this song right here is Esperanto. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, wow, they really nailed the style of the Mega Man X music again, there's a good reason for that. That is very intentional. We are, of course, revisiting the site of the Eurasia crash, so that's a reason why. However, this song in particular is actually based, I think on little bits and pieces of the Mega Man X5 soundtrack. You can definitely hear the inspiration from Zero's intro from that game. People also say that, you can hear the credits theme of that game in there as well, and I want to say I agree, but I can't say that with full confidence because I'm not really musically inclined, so I might just be lying to myself, you know? I might just be hearing things and I might be wrong, but it is for certain very reminiscent of the Mega Man X soundtracks, which is definitely really cool. I really love the work they put into kind of bringing this back around to the X series without necessarily making it about that exactly. It's not just standing here saying, hey, remember Mega Man X? We are actually building a plot off of that. There's a reason the game is the way it is. So it's a nice callback without necessarily drowning the end of the Zero series in a completely different series. Also, this arena is frowning. Anyway, hi, hello. Are you sure you didn't walk out of one of the Mega Man X games? You remind me of the guy from X2. Anyway, this is Carnage Force Zero. He is honestly really easy. I'm reminded of the first boss from that game in part because he stays in the background, and mostly he does nothing. He does have the advantage of firing missiles, which you use the platforms to defend yourself against. Just, you know, try to be aware of the angle they're coming in at, and you can dodge easily enough. Otherwise, yeah, it's just Slow Punch City. I feel like you can definitely handle this. I don't know your skill level, but I feel like you can handle this, whoever you are watching this. I know it's very surprising that the second boss of the game is, you know, relatively easy. I mean, I joke about that, but to be fair, this is the series where the second boss in one of the games was like the hardest boss in the game. I have not forgotten or forgiven Aztec Falcon, and I never will in my life. He's not that hard, but I still hate him. Also, clear time 18 points. I felt like I did pretty well. I mean, I did go out of my way for some enemy parts, but nonetheless, I got docked 2 points for it. I will say, 04 is very harsh on the clear times. Who is that sassy lost chicken? Are you just gonna kick that computer to death? Why do we keep having birds kick computers to death? Okay, well, third boss of this game. This nerd. Alright, so let's see what the room looks like. Oh, there's another guy. Is he on the intercom? Or like, oh, how do we not notice you people? Oh, they've just got a formation going on. Okay. That's every boss in the game, at least the main ones. Okay, we don't have any element chips. What are we gonna do? Aim for the chicken first, of course, but, His name is Zero. There's data on him. I definitely didn't know about him ahead of time. Oh, no, you can wait until your respective stages. Yeah, even Zero's worried about having to fight 8 guys at once. Understandable, because, again, that's just every standard boss in the game. And also this guy, too. 9 bosses in total. Thankfully, he's pulling an Adam Malkovich. He's not letting them fight, they don't have the clearance for it. None of you can morph ball until this guy says so. Okay, so let's see, their plan is called Ragnarok. Okay, alright, Norse mythology, gotcha. Okay, if there's no other part of the planet left, then you have to live under Dr. Vile. Who would choose nature? Says the plant-based Reploid. And yes, they are named the Einherjar Warriors. Of course they are. So yeah, they're specifically targeting, nature and the recovery of it. So hey, what if the Captain Planet villains, except they were robots and they were definitely serving a fascist regime that's sort of catapulting to the end times because the guy in charge is saying, well, people hate it under my rule, so I'll just make sure there's literally nothing else on the planet except Neo Arcadia, so then they can't be ruled by anybody but me.
I think it's a pretty good plan.
I mean, we didn't have to fight 8 to 9 bosses, so yeah, we're fine. I did hear all that. I can't believe you were almost jumped by an entire squad. Okay, well, that was a near-death experience. So right, Servo does have the whole crafting mechanic, but I'm not gonna go too much into that because I've got, like, no materials whatsoever. So we'll get more into that later. Okay, so in order to get to the settlement, we do actually have to walk on foot. Otherwise, they'll figure out where we're teleporting. Alright, but I don't know what one Cyber Elf is going to do. Okay, well, that does sound all well and good. And believe me, I would actually like to talk about this game Cyber Elf, singular. But we did just go through 2 entire stages, so I'm thinking we'll save learning about the Cyber Elf and Area 0 next time on Mega Man 04. And man, thank goodness I played Valkyrie Profile so I sort of know how to pronounce Einherjar now.